Now we're on.
Testing.
Testing.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Testing.
I'm looking at the little
Testing.
things. Yeah. Looks good.
It looks good.
No idea.
Yeah. Welcome to Weddings Uncensored, where we drink and talk and talk and drink. I'm Kaiel.
I'm Allie, and we are here to break down the good, the bad, and the downright crazy of this whole wedding industry. Yay!
Woo!
Cheers!
Welcome. We got the
Welcome.
fucking intro.
We did. We nailed it.
Nailed
We
it.
can go home now.
See you next Tuesday.
Oh, I wish. Today we are talking about videography.
Woo woo.
Something Kaiel knows just a little bit about.
I actually know. I feel like I'm always on the podcast and I don't actually know.
Yeah, I feel like every
what
episode you're
it
like,
is we're
I'm really excited to hear about catering because I don't know anything about
I'm
catering.
really excited to hear about hair and makeup, but I don't know shit about it. You know. But today I actually know.
It's your fucking moment, man.
I actually know what we're talking about.
Let's go. And actually, I feel like videography is one of the vendor categories I know the least amount about. So this will be fun for both of us.
What, you don't have opinions or logistics to talk about for videography?
So many logistics, as per usual. Always. I think that I do. Well, we'll get into my opinions and logistics. Start with me again, as per usual. Let's make this about me somehow. It's a videography episode. All about Allie.
Always about Allie.
Always AAA. Always about Allie.
Whoa.
And that's the way it should
Some
be.
AAA insurance.
Dumb. Okay.
What do you want to know about videography?
Kyle,
Since you don't
short
know
and
much.
wave. Well, why don't you start with your own journey of how you got there, why you started your company, what do you do,
Sure.
all that good stuff.
Okay, I'll try not to bore the listeners and viewers, but basically I was gifted a drone from my wife, and this was like a little over 5 years ago.
Okay.
Just for fun, went to Dana Point, went to the beach, made some fun little videos, and then stumbled across a wedding video. And I was like, oh, people do this? Granted, we're already married, so I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
People do this. And then I was like, oh, okay, let me look at some. I got really interested. Checked out a couple websites of just, what they do and how much
Different
they make.
videographers?
Different
Okay.
videographers. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So, and I saw how much money they were making. And I'm like, well, I'm not really happy doing any of the jobs I've worked at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just give this a shot.
Yeah.
So I helped out another videographer and I said, hey, can you teach me if I just help out for free for a couple weddings? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. 3 weddings later, quit my job thanks to a supportive wife. And she said, you look like you're having fun. Just go for it. And
Yeah.
I did. So
I
it's
love
been
that.
for going on 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure lots of learning curves
whole
and
lot of
a
learning
lot of
curves.
experience
Yeah,
and
yes.
lots of equipment. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, they make a lot of money, but all this shit really costs a lot of money too.
Oh yeah. No, 100%. I think in the past 5 years, I probably have spent upwards of like anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000
Yeah.
of equipment, software, licensing for music. This is why I want to choose the song. Okay, it's very expensive.
You get to choose
It's very expensive to
Yeah.
find the song. So anyway, but yeah. So I've been doing that for a little over 4 years, and this year I've been also focused on photography, so I can do both video and photo.
Yeah.
Granted, video is like my home.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with it, but artistically, it's always fun to try something new.
Yeah.
And people have liked the photos that I've taken so far.
Yeah,
so
I've liked photos you've taken.
Thank you.
Of me.
Yeah.
Triple A.
Yes, all of it.
All about Allie. Okay, amazing. And then when you first started Shore and Wave, you started it with your wife too, which it has transformed a bit since then.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that's a cool story.
Yeah, no, Stephanie, she does have a full-time job outside of this. Health insurance is kind of expensive.
Talk about
it. But no, she enjoys the consistency and the steadiness of a 9 to 5. But
Yeah.
when she is available and she's not too tired from work,
Yeah.
she'll probably take around like 5 to 10-ish weddings per year. And
Okay.
that's like a good balance. We still have
Yeah.
we got the 2 kids, so we don't want to overload it on
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it to a minimum and a healthy amount. But she still does love taking photos. I'll still edit everything though.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. Okay. So when you talk about videography with weddings, I think it's a place that a lot of people can cut or will cut from the budget because it feels maybe not necessary or as you're line editing and you're like, oh shit, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a place that maybe people don't think of first. Or I mean, you got married and you don't even have a videographer, right?
No idea.
So
and it's my job now.
And now here we are. So who is it for? Like, what do you recommend when you're like, if you're shopping, like who is a videographer for?
So I would say there are probably 3 types of people or categories, and I think that will help you figure out what do you want and what do you need, because sometimes what you need and what you want are 2 separate things. But on a wedding day, like, it's very rare for all of these people that you know and you love to be together at the same exact time. It's also very rare for you to get married, so you do want to document it in some way, shape, or form. Now, how you want that documented is completely up to you. So the first group, I will say, is people that are not sentimental and they just don't care about videography. It's not for you. It's okay.
Yeah.
Then don't have it. I would say that needs to be both partners, right? Both people. If it's important to one, then guess what? Compromise. Here we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't care and you're not sentimental, like you wouldn't want to watch like home videos. I can watch our little home videos that I've made for fucking days.
Yeah.
So so sentimental, not sentimental,
don't care.
and don't care. Not for you.
Right.
The second would be if you are sentimental, but you're not really sure if you need like a highlight video. You know, how often are you going to actually watch a some people do like a 3 to 15 minute highlight video of the wedding day. Depends on the level of sentimental you are, I guess. So I would say, yes, you do want a videographer, but maybe it's not necessarily the highlight video that you're like, I have to have. It's more of just, I want to see the speeches.
Yeah.
I want to see the ceremony. I want to see some dancing, but I don't need this crafted highlight video.
Right.
And that's fine too. I don't know many videographers that will only do like raw footage or only do a doc edit. But I would be down. You know what I mean? Because I'm here for whatever the couple wants, and I know how much I would want to make from a wedding day in general. Now, whatever deliverables you want, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
And then obviously the last couple would be people that love a highlight video and they're super sentimental.
Yeah.
You're going to get everything. You're going to want a highlight video. You're going to want the raw footage or a doc edit. So what's a doc edit?
What's a doc edit? Well, I know that's like, I think those are the 3 like vocab words that we should break down, because I'm not even 100% clear on what those mean.
Okay. So deliverables, you have your highlight video, raw footage, doc edit, a speech edit, or a ceremony edit.
Okay.
So your highlight video, pretty self-explanatory. The best of the best moments, all
the
combined
Instagram
together.
version.
Yes, the whole 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a 6 song, or it's the song that fits the wedding
Very
day.
curated
Hopefully.
to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Then you have the doc edit. Now, a doc edit will basically includes a speech and a ceremony edit. So speech and ceremony edits will include at least what I do, is I will mic up the groom for the ceremony. I will also put a mic sometimes with the officiant, but definitely with the DJ wherever the sound is coming from. We sync all of the cameras and all of the nice, clean audio, because remember, cameras are so far away.
Yeah.
And we're not recording one long take on every single camera most of the time.
Yeah.
But we do want at least one consistent shot that we can keep going back to, a hero shot.
So much lingo.
I know, right?
I like it.
But yeah, so I will sync all of the audio and the video together for the ceremony and for the speeches. The in-camera audio is not that great as far as like speeches,
Yeah.
or if you want to hear someone really talking, it's not that great. So, but yeah, a doc edit will also include the speech, the ceremony, and maybe like 10 minutes of getting ready.
Okay.
10 minutes of like details from the ceremony site.
So these are longer. Like how long is a doc edit usually?
Doc edit, I would say, would range anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour and a half.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is the real documentary of your day, not something you're sharing on Instagram, but something that you're really going to watch year after year and share with your grandparents and stuff like that.
Correct. And a doc edit is usually edited.
Yeah.
When I mean edited, it means like having a songs in the, like we still have to go find songs and put the songs in the background. So,
versus raw footage, which is literally.
Yeah. Raw footage is I take the SD card out, I slap it into a drive, and I give you a drive with all the footage.
Yeah. And
There's
do you offer that as a deliverable?
So
Deliverable?
So yes and no. But to explain, I think most videographers who offer raw footage, it's a pretty standard thing. I do something a little different. I call them raw wedding videos.
Okay.
With raw footage, it's here's all the clips from the 3 cameras that we use from the day.
Yeah.
Good luck finding whatever it is that we shot.
For sure.
You have everything. It's up to you now. Basically.
Now figure it out. Yeah.
It's not color graded. So usually the footage is very like washed out.
Okay.
Gray, black, white. There's not a lot of liveliness. So if you take a picture of flowers, when you look at the photo that the photographer gives it to you, it looks all vibrant and sexy and awesome.
Yeah.
Raw footage is not sexy. It's all the data is there, but you have to edit in the colors.
Yeah.
So that's raw footage. I used to do that. Now what I offer is raw wedding videos. So raw, it's actually on my website. If you want to go to shornwave.com, in the FAQ section, there's this exact section I'm about to talk about. But basically raw wedding videos. I take all of the clips from before the ceremony and I put them into one long video.
Got it.
In-camera audio. So it's not mic'd up. It's not like...
Not
perfect.
Polished.
It's not. It's not podcast audio. You know what I'm saying? It's still in camera. You can still hear people.
Yeah.
There's no issues with it. It's just on a different level.
Yeah.
But that is one video. The second video is synced up because it's basically a ceremony edit inside. But the second video is all the clips from the ceremony. So it usually ends up becoming a ceremony edit. And then the third video, sometimes maybe 4, depending on how long speeches and dancing is, will be the reception.
Got it.
So the edited speeches are also in the part 3 of the raw wedding video.
Yeah.
But to sum it up, it's 3 videos, one video from before the ceremony, another video of the ceremony, and then another one of the reception. It all has a color grade on it, so it does bring back the colors.
Yeah.
I just find it easier for people to scrub.
Well, because what are people?
Section versus like having to open
a million different files.
Files,
well, and I think that's why a lot of videographers don't do. I mean, I have talked to other videographers. They're like, I don't even do raw footage because guess what? You don't want that footage.
Yeah,
it's like paying $6,000 for your photographer and then being like, oh, I also want the unedited photos. Like
which photographers won't even give you. In the first
but that's
place.
also like kind of not what you're paying for, right?
Yes.
Like
you're paying for the service for a professional who knows how to shoot and edit,
and for all the shit they do afterwards. Like that's what goes into so much of the day. All this expensive equipment. Your expertise, your technological knowledge, but it's not the 8 hours on the day that you're there. It's all of the after and all of that stuff that goes into the investment of any good photographer, videographer, things like that.
Exactly. So you definitely want to, I mean, for anyone that is not hiring me, I would say ask the videographers too, if in place of, I would even say, don't ask for raw footage.
Yeah.
Ask for these raw wedding videos that I'm explaining.
Yeah.
Send this little snippet over to them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it makes their job easier.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to sync up the audio from the ceremony and the speeches anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not give a basic color grade? We're not saying like spend 30 minutes on every clip and so on and so forth. It's really not that difficult. Sooner or later, AI will be able to do everything.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That's a whole nother episode.
It's a whole nother
Wedding
episode.
AI. Ooh, we got to add that to the list.
Yeah. Especially for photographers. It's a huge thing right now.
That's so crazy.
But anyway, I would say just ask for these types of raw wedding videos versus raw footage. It's just going to be easier for you. it's, I don't know, to me, it comes off more like that home video vibes.
Right.
Like the camcorder, and you just shoot it and it's ready to go, and you just have to, you just sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
And you watch a long video. That's what it's there for.
Right.
You know? So,
yeah. I think it's interesting, but it's good to know what the definition of these deliverables are, because a lot with photo and video, they're like, you get this many images, this is the album, this is, you know, this highlight reel, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, what does it all mean? And what do you really want? Like you said at the end, what do you want? What do you need?
Yes.
All of the extra work is going to end up costing more. So really at the end of the day, you know, what's important to you.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the like explosion of video on social media, I mean, social media has been around, right?
Yeah.
Clearly. And then I feel like even years ago, there was these like highlight reels, but with TikTok and like reels and all the YouTube and stuff like that, I wonder if there's this bigger push on wedding videography in general now than there was 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't say from 5-10 years ago because I didn't even know about it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I would say lately people still want video, or at least who know they do want wedding videography. Sometimes they'll ask me to make like a vertical specific video
so they can share it.
Reels and TikTok.
Yeah.
Which I would be totally down to shoot an entire wedding day vertically. I just need a couple to come and ask me to do that.
Yeah.
And where are you watching? If you know you're only really going to be watching the video on your phone, totally makes sense. But if you're watching it sooner or later on the TV is not, unless you're going to turn your goddamn TV, then I guess.
When you could. That's
I
so
don't have a
interesting.
mount that
I
does
have
that.
seen a couple of vendors now that are coming out of the woodwork, and I wonder if they're actual photo video people or if they're just like social media enthusiasts that are coming to offer taking, you know, I'll create 8 TikToks or 8 reels or whatever from your day, which is just such an interesting thing.
I actually started to include that in, I think 2 out of the 3 packages that I have is either 1 or 2 or 3 reels.
Yeah.
I just know I enjoy shooting vertically, so I just find it fun. So it's not that big of a deal for me to include it in the contract.
Yeah.
But I'll shoot vertically. I'll still shoot a majority of the day normal landscape.
Right.
But there will be some moments where I know if I am getting, I don't know, you're getting ready stuff. I don't need too much of it in landscape, so why not just duplicate it and do it again and have little candid moments?
And that's cool, especially if that's something that is important to you, and that's fine if it is. Like, what a cool thing to enjoy. Okay, cool. So those are all really good, like technical questions, and we're talking about deliverables. What about the style of videography in general?
Yeah.
Like, are there different aesthetic, artistic styles?
Yes. So I think the best way to kind of give an example would be with photography. There is the light and airy, and there's the dark and moody.
Yeah.
With video, I would take it one step further. There is the light and airy. There is the dark and moody. Now we're going to talk about the production and the creation of your highlight video.
Okay.
Do you want it to be very produced?
Yeah.
Or do you want it to be very candid?
Yeah.
Do you want it somewhere in the middle? So there's the one layer with photography, light and airy, dark and moody. There's 2 layers. You have that plus produced versus candid. I lean more on the candid side. I just find it more fun, and it's much easier to edit personally.
Yeah.
And I find that most couples that don't know how to pose, they can kind of get a little awkward. They don't know what to do with their hands, you know, so on and so forth. If you're not comfortable in front of the camera, I would suggest just stay with the more candid vibes. But if you have a videographer who knows how to efficiently tell you how to pose, and you're okay with doing that on one of the busiest days of your life.
Oh my God, yes.
Then sure, go for it. Do the produced
the
way.
more cinematic, produced.
Exactly. So you have the cinematic, produce would be that, and then you have the candid. So again, it's just figuring out what you want.
Yeah, the style.
Yeah, I would definitely say check out at least 3 different highlight videos from the videographers that you're thinking about hiring. You'll get a better gauge of consistency in how they edit and the couples that they typically shoot after watching a few videos, not just one. I would stay away from, everyone will have like a crazy awesome, like 30-second teaser to really bring you in. That's marketing. We have to do that.
Right.
But when you look at an actual highlight video, it would be equivalent to looking at a full wedding
full
gallery.
album. Yep.
So that way you can see like of course, you're going to see the bangers on Instagram and the best moments from photo and video
Yep.
on Instagram.
Yep.
But watch an actual highlight
Dig
film.
a little
look
deeper.
at an actual album.
And kind of the same thing that we talked about also is like, maybe have they worked at your venue before? Can you see what that looks like? Are you only in love with these gorgeous highlight videos of these beach weddings, but you're getting married inside of a ballroom? Like, it's not gonna look like that.
Yeah.
So staying realistic. And
Yes.
I mean, you were asking about the coordinator logistics things. That made me think about for those very cinematic pose, like some of these videos are stunning, right?
Yeah.
They look
They're
like
gorgeous.
fake photo shoots because peeling back the curtain, they kind of are a little bit. Like I have seen a couple have to do a first look like 5 times in a row
really?
because the videographer wanted to get like all these different angles and it wasn't quite perfect the first
man.
time and whatever. And I'm just watching this like disgusted
You're
because
just like, this is not a wedding.
No,
anymore.
like,
This is a
isn't
shoot
this
for
a-
you?
yeah.
This is for the videographer. It's not for the couple.
no, and like how unauthentic and like isn't
Yeah.
that what we're all here for is to
Yes.
experience this and like capture it and
Yeah.
if you think about I think we talked about this in like one of our first episodes but that gorgeous like shot of like following a bride with her dress down the
yeah.
aisle like know that they're that motherfucking videographer is crawling behind you to get that shot or
and your photographer's fucking pissed in the front.
Yes, and the drones are so
I hate
loud
the
over a
drones.
ceremony or whatever. Like, so know that like if this is important to you, that's fine. But there are going to be
Yeah.
concessions that you're going to have to make along with that.
Yeah.
And that the
100%.
candidness is going to really capture the day a little bit more genuinely because when you have to do your first look 5 times, that's dumb.
Yep. It is very dumb. It is very dumb. And I think it's just, again, I think there is a time and place. And if you are that couple that wants to do that,
Yeah.
like your life, you're used to produce, production level stuff. And
Yeah.
it's part of your life.
Yeah.
You're not really going to expect anything too different from your wedding day. So again, it's just figuring out what do you actually want and what can you afford and go for that.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
So-
What from a scheduling perspective, like when you're talking to clients about timeline and kind of digging into
Yeah.
that, like is that something you talk about early, trying to figure out how many hours they need and stuff like that?
So the collections are based off of the amount of time that we're there for, and you can always add on more video deliverables if you want to, just like you can add more albums later on down the line for photography. But I would typically start out with the question of, you've already booked your photographer. Now you're looking for a videographer. How long do you have your photographer for? You have them for 8? Perfect. You're going to have me for 8. This is what the collection costs.
Yeah.
Because to me, it doesn't make any sense. If you're going to have someone document the 2 different vendors document the day, why would you have them start at 2 different times?
Yeah.
Do you saying you only want getting ready for photo, but you don't want it for video, and you just want me to show up literally when the ceremony starts? I mean, if you want that, sure. But that seems kind of weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who wants to start a wedding video of you walking down the aisle? you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
It should be you're documenting the day. Or again, if you don't care about any of those getting ready things, then why bother?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
what about the dynamic between, as a coordinator, you see the photo video dynamic a lot. So obviously when you're hiring, a husband and wife duo, or there's a team, there are a lot of photo video teams. And I do usually encourage people to go that route. If you're early in your vendor booking process, like why not have one vendor? You know that they're going to work well together. You know the synergy is already there. Like
you nailed it on the head.
and from a coordinator perspective, I've seen so many times it get like almost ugly between photo and video when they're separate teams.
So for myself, I feel like I can get along with really about anyone.
You are one of the nicer videographers that I've met in my career, though.
But
they're often
yes.
hot take. Videographers are assholes at weddings a lot.
Hot take. Photographers are also assholes at weddings.
That's true.
Hot take. Planners can also be assholes.
Yeah, okay.
At
They're
weddings.
all a bunch of assholes. Yeah.
Hot take. The couple can be assholes.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
No, so the synergy is very important because we need shots to be able to give you your album and your highlight video.
Yeah.
It's very important. So I would go as far as to say yes, you would prefer to have vendors that work with each other. Obviously, Stephanie and I shoot a lot together, but I still shoot with a shit ton of other photographers that enjoy working with me. And I'm on there Shore and Wave is on their preferred vendor lists of like, oh, you need a videographer?
Yeah.
Hit up Kaiel from Shore and Wave. If you need a hype videographer and a lot of fun, he's your man.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say if you've hired a photographer, the best go-to place just for synergy and simplicity, and you don't have to do all the hunting, is ask the photographer of, hey, who do you enjoy working with?
Totally.
Because you don't want the photographer and videographer to not get along.
Yeah.
And I would go as far as to say as even you could ask the photographer, do you enjoy working with a videographer? Because if they don't like working with videographers and asking for shots and poses and so on and so forth, the photographer may not be a good match, because if you know you want videography and you know you want something good, then you're going to want two vendors that know how to play well together.